Hate this. I hate this video even has to be made. But it does. I'm a man of integrity. I'll give it to you straight. I'll tell you the truth. This is a matter of opinion, of course. But I'll give you the truth that I believe. And that is that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond sucks. It's awful. And I cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth. It's like tasting vomit. This doesn't make any sense. I've woken up in the worst possible timeline for this game. And I got a lot to say about it. So, this is going to be my full and final review and thoughts on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The good, the bad, the ugly, and there's a lot of ugly. So if you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe. It helps out the channel. I'm going to start with the good. What little good there is. What little hope we can latch on to for the future of not only this series, but other Nintendo games as well, or future Retro Studios projects. The game runs great. It's a smooth, cool 60 frames a second in 4K, or 120 frames in a 1080p. It's immaculate. It looks like one of the best looking Nintendo games ever. And it's amazing it even runs on Switch 1 as well, not just Switch 2. The music is great. The music is awesome. I just want to sit there and listen to the music. The gameplay is top notch as far as, moving around, strafing, the way you scan things, the way you shoot things. Love it. Love every part of that. It's just too bad that it's all packed into a shitty game. Really. It really, really is. So let's talk about what's not good. What's bad? What's ugly in this game? First, we got to start off with what my main concern was going into the game, which is Soul Valley, the barren, wasteful, useless, piece of shit desert. And I can confirm, yeah, that is a complete and total fucking waste of time. Not good. So the huge flaw in this game is the level design. The difference between this Metroid and other Metroid Prime games is in the level design, they've decided to go super linear. Now, not normally a problem for me. I like linear games, for the most part. It's not what I wanted in a Prime game, though. For a few reasons. One, you do have that opening scene. The game starts off fine. The opening scene, it's Halo-esque. This is not supposed to be fucking Halo. Okay, but that's just the opening scene, right? No big deal. Yeah, and then it tries to be Zelda. And tries to be dungeons. The problem is, the puzzles aren't really interesting like they are in the Prime games or in the Zelda games. I went through the entire first Green Forest level, and although it was somewhat enjoyable, and the boss fight was somewhat enjoyable too, I looked at my runtime on this game after just the first area, and I noticed an hour and 17 minutes. And that was actually runtime where I was already at Volt Forge to the second area. And I was thinking, wait a minute. There's only 5 keys in the whole freaking game. I have one of them, and I'm already started on the second one. How do we only have an hour and 17 minutes of playtime? And then I've realized something. This game's biggest flaw is there's not enough game there. There just isn't. You're talking about 5 levels that are super short, linear, hand-holded, and you don't feel any sense of accomplishment. When you play Metroid Prime, the original, you feel a great sense of accomplishment when you finally figure out how to open this door or get to this area. Everything was interconnected in a certain way, or even though it was separate at the same time. There was no fucking Soul Valley to connect the areas. Okay? But this game doesn't feel rewarding even in the slightest. It feels like outside of the parts that are fun, which are far and few between, it's nothing but padding. And all of this has to do with the level design. If you're going to have a biome that's that small, you're going to need like 12 of them to pad this game out to a 24-hour or so runtime, which is what it should be. This should be an evolution of the series. It should be bigger and better than ever. Instead, it lacks content. It lacks levels. And I don't know why. When you've been developing this game for 8 years, when you've had anticipation for this game for 18 years, you would expect you would put a little more meat on the bone. A little more. And that the meat on the bone we did get wasn't rancid. I've played games that are short, like by my standards. Bayonetta 2 is an excellent game. I beat it in 7 hours. But it was such a star-studded, awesome 7 hours. With little and nothing to complain about. That's not this game. This game still includes many, many tedious factors. And the word I want to go back to is contrived. Everything feels contrived and padded in this game. From start to finish. Even including a quest that reminds me of Wind Waker, where you have to get all the pieces. You know what I mean? I don't want to spoil too much, but there's all these pieces you have to go get. And it's like, huh? What? Don't you think you would have learned from that mistake? Because in Wind Waker HD, they corrected that mistake as best they could. You know, and putting aside all the amiibo stuff, the no music in the desert stuff, and all that stuff, just looking at this game, that is its biggest flaw. The lack of meat on the bone, and the meat we got on the bone wasn't exactly fresh. Anyway, then we got to talk about the AI characters. When I play a Metroid game, I want to play in isolation. One of my biggest dings against 3, looking back at 3, it's not as hot to me as 1 and 2. It has motion controls. It has more, you have to go from planet to planet in the spaceship. And you do have NPCs that talk to you and stuff. It's still miles better than 4. Okay? Like 1 and 2 are like up here. Then it's like 3. And then it's like 4. Legitimately. This game's a 6 out of 10. I can't believe I'm saying this. Metroid Prime 4 is a 6 out of 10. It's a playable game. You can play through it. But it's not even really good. Like, I'm upset I spent $70 on it. I wouldn't have liked it if it was free. That's what a 6 out of 10 is for me. The amount of things it asks you to scan is way too many. There's way too many things that need scanning and have to be scanned. It's tedious. The psychic powers, instead of being fun and useful, feel like a chore. Again, I understand that there's a fine line between stuff and utilities that feel great in games versus what makes it feel like a chore. This game leans towards chore. For sure. And like I said, the NPCs talking in your ear, they're not funny. They're not cute. They're annoying. The backtracking you are given in this game is extremely contrived in order to pad out the runtime. So again, either it's bad level design or it's purposeful padding. Either way, that's not good. Either way, that's not fun. And we play video games for fun. So I'm not happy with it. And let's talk about... We've talked about everything that's like in the game that's bad and makes it bad. Makes it subpar. But what did we potentially lose out on here? Really think about it. What could have been? Number one, why is it we don't have multiplayer? Like, we seriously are not going to get a competitive multiplayer for this game. I was seriously hoping years ago Nintendo could have made this their Halo. Right? Look, I played Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite feels a way better in the single player than Metroid Prime 4 does. That should not happen. And Halo Infinite has a whole freaking multiplayer, right? When Halo Infinite decided to open up into a big world, a big vast world to go through, and then when you got to certain areas, you started missions. That's superior by a long mile compared to what we got here in Metroid Prime 4. It all goes back to the desert. The desert ruins everything. I don't know if you got rid of the desert, how many more biomes you could have had. But even if you do that, even if you have the biomes, you still don't have a normal-ass Metroid game. You have something that's a bastardization of Zelda and Halo. Legitimately. It's a bastardization of Zelda and Halo and Metroid. And unlike Darksiders, which takes the best of games like God of War, Gears of War, and stuff like that, and tries to make its own little spin on it, like it did with Darksiders 1 and 2, this feels like a Darksiders 3 moment for Metroid Prime 4, which means not so good, not so great. You know, this feels like Borderlands 4 is the better fourth installment of a game than this franchise. And I am not hot on that game at all. Because it also strips away a lot of the feel of what the original Borderlands was supposed to be. I don't know. I just feel like this game was pulled in so many different directions. I feel like you have the people that wanted it to be the Halo game. You have the people that wanted it to be classic Metroid. You had the people that wanted it to be more appealing to an audience. You have the suits and ties that wanted the time to be padded out so you didn't ship a 6-hour game. And so at the end of the day, you got a bastardization. If you were to set out 4 of your favorite foods, but they weren't meant to be mixed together, is that good? So for example, let's say I liked ice cream, cheeseburgers, pizza, and shrimp. All great separately. Maybe they have side dishes with those that help accent the flavor. But you'd never fucking mix them all together. And try to call it something special. That's the problem with this game. It's the jack of all trades, master of none. Classic example. This is like the guy that you know, that's a know-it-all, that says, oh, I could change a tire, I could fix the roof, I could do the bathroom, I could do this, and he can't do any of it well. This game lacked serious direction. I feel like the development hurt this game. The way the development played out hurt this game badly. There was no, it did not, it just felt very video gamey in the sense that I did not feel lost in the world at all. It felt very non-impactful. I mean, I don't know what way to say it. This is like having, this is honest to God, the equivalent of you think you're going to get laid with the hottest woman you see, and then you get in the bedroom with her, and she lays there like a fish, and it doesn't even feel great for some reason. And you're left wondering, how the fuck did that happen? And it makes you question your own sanity and your own taste in games. Like, am I jaded? Can I not experience happiness when I game anymore? And then I realize that's not true. I've experienced plenty of happiness gaming in the past year. Donkey Kong Bonanza delighted the fuck out of me. Okay? It legitimately was doing new things, great things, great level design, did a whole bunch of things I loved, right? Mario Kart World, despite a lot of you guys online not liking the game, was able to delight and surprise me in ways I didn't know was possible. And you could argue whether Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just a better model to have so many tracks and just go track to track. It's definitely the superior of the old model of Mario Kart. And Mario Kart World is something new and fresh and different, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Some of you did not, and that's fine. There's a difference of opinion, that's fine. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. A game that had familiar elements while at the same time having awesome new elements to it. Blended well. Great story. Metroid Prime's fourth story is paper thin. Paper thin. And maybe it always has been. Maybe Metroid Prime's always had a paper thin story, because your sense of wonder and exploration filled in the gaps. You're scanning and reading logbooks and caring what the backstory was kept it going. Metroid Prime 2, for example. Figuring out the Dark World and defeating Dark Samus. It's epic. There's a sense of accomplishment there. I'm sad that I don't like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I didn't like Metroid Dread either. It leaves me in a very odd space here, because Metroid is one of my all-time favorite franchises. Yet I'm finding myself not liking the direction that either the 2D or 3D games have went. I found myself defending Other M more lately than I have Metroid Prime 4. I think Other M is a better game than Metroid Prime 4. I think Other M at least had some story and personality to it. Other M, at least, although maybe it tried and failed to some degree, did something different. But at least having a vision. This game has no vision. It feels empty. It feels like empty calories. It's not insulting to the point where it's a slap in the face to the fans. And I don't think the intention was a mindless cash grab either. But I'm left wanting so much more. And the disappointment alone hurts. It saddens me. Because we should have got like a 25-hour campaign, at least. We could have had one gigantic interconnected world. Or we could have had at least 7 hubs that were bigger than the hubs they gave us. We could have had multiplayer. Just none of it. Nintendo gave us almost nothing. And thought that we'd lap it up. That 80 on Metacritic is too generous. I don't know what to say from here. This will go down as one of the most disappointing games I've ever played in my life. Because I know the anticipation for myself going in. There was probably only 2 games possibly in existence that I was more hyped for than this. That's GTA 6 and the new 3D Mario game that hasn't even been announced yet, but we know it will be coming one day. And this was a huge, huge swing and a miss. This is RJ signing out. Have a good one.